Like I was saying, social cultural factors are the company is so widespread that it reaches all demographics in the United States. Uh, the leisure interests in the communities are important that you're marketing to. You're not gonna market grilling to someone in an urban environment that can't really go outside and grill anywhere. They live in a penthouse apartment. Um, uh, Also, the culture and the society of different demographics is an important thing to be mindful of when marketing. A threat is if the education level is low in the communities, consumers may not be able to afford propane in comparison to natural gas, or they may not be mindful of the environmental impact of propane compared to natural gas. The environmental consciousness of the consumers is also another threat. Uh, it can either increase electric powered or energy, or because they're extremely environmental conscious, or increase natural gas sales because they're environmentally not so conscious. Technological factors. Uh, they have a real time capability to track their delivery trucks and route delivery trucks. This helps because they're uh, if they're heading into a storm, or there's traffic, or there's an accident on the road that they're taking, they can just radio the driver and be like, "Hey, don't take that road. It'll slow you down and keep them efficient." They're always constantly researching and working to create greener propane. And the increasing rate of diffusion of technology can lead to increased ability to market to consumers. That's like everyone is everyone's gonna go to a website now. They won't go to the local uh, information center and ask for a brochure over them. They're gonna go to AmeriGas.com, which is a another opportunity for them because they have one of the better websites in the whole industry. Threats are development of less expensive electrical energy is where electrically powered uh, machines that they can make electrically powered machines that are usually run by propane. And natural gas is always working towards creating technology that can either make their product less expensive or lower their environmental footprint. And lastly, their environmental ecological factors. Propane is a green fuel, so that's opportunity. It's considered a green fuel. Um, the AmeriGas commitment to safety vision is important to their future success because they have the best services in the industry. Their delivery, installment, and maintenance of the propane tanks and cylinders is also unmatched, which keeps everything environmentally safe as it can be. And threats are fracking has negatively impacted the environment, and public perception of the fracking is predominantly against, which can lead to fewer customers. Fracking is how propane is accumulated, and uh, it's not necessarily the best thing for the environment. Uh, Electric energy is the most popularly pursued energy to be moving forward with. That just means that propane probably has a expiration date, but it won't be for a while. They just need to continue to research and develop. Um, their competitors are Feral Gas, Suburban Propane Group, Natural Gas, electrically powered energy. The advantages they have over the propane companies is that AmeriGas is the sheer size of it is almost those two combined. It gives them advantages like it can help them with obviously with commercial prices for customers, and it can it reaches the entire country. Uh, they also have a longevity advantage, which they have biggest brand name and they're the longest standing company. And their experience and service is what they believe sets them apart from the other two competitors as well. Is that they have the expertise, they're the experts in industry, and they believe they're the experts in the energy industry as a whole. Threats is that gas is cheaper for the individual person to buy. Uh, Electric is obviously a much cleaner energy source, and Feral Gas and Suburban Propane Group they provide a similar product, just maybe not as good a service. Their supplier power is that um, AmeriGas buys from about 20 suppliers. They get almost 90% of their propane from 20 suppliers. So if any of those suppliers defect to a different company, go under, or uh, just decide to raise their prices, that's going to affect their bottom line. The good and the bad thing about propane, though, is that there are a lot of suppliers that they could pick from. So if one of them went away, they might be able to replace them, but not their three major propane producers, which is Targa, Enterprise, and Phillips 66. Um, um, and then buyer power. Buyers have a medium amount of bargaining power because there are so many competitors to AmeriGas outside of the propane industry, but within it, they're pretty much the biggest one. Or obviously the biggest one. They're pretty much the one that most people go to. But uh, so they're the standard inside of propane. Outside of it, there's an absurd amount of companies that sell gasoline, propane, and electric powered energy, so that limits the buyer's power. Newcomers. The advantage AmeriGas has over newcomers is their experience, brand name, and size. Most newcomers eventually get bought out by the larger corporations because that is the best growth driver in the propane industry. The threat of newcomers is that if they can develop new research and products that create better, cleaner product or propane, some of the other larger propane companies could buy them out before AmeriGas and take their intellectual property to produce and take market share from AmeriGas. Substitutes. There's not really any substitutes for the service that AmeriGas provides. Obviously, propane is their substitutes are natural gas, electric, and other propane companies. Um, and internal analysis, their operations strengths is most locations in the industry, obviously over 1,900, delivery to the entire country, and they also provide like great service for maintenance and give a lot of safety information. Weaknesses, they are somewhat seasonal and sell high in the cold times but low in the warm times. Marketing strengths, they use their long-standing name and experience to show that they are experts in the field and that they're here to help. Their online services are easy to use and includes location finder for nearest properties. Their weaknesses, they have a large number of paper marketing and word of mouth. Despite being such a large company, the marketing team needs to create a way to evolve with new technology. Human resources, they have experienced VP in this position that is extremely attentive to customer complaints and to inter-office complaints. Lower level employees' wages are rather low and they rely on minimum wage employees. Finance strengths, they have the highest revenues in the entire propane industry. That's a huge strength. And now that they're getting their debt taken care of, that's another huge strength. The weaknesses, the labor costs and equipment costs are extremely high, and until they get that purchased by UGI, they will have a high long-term debt. Their overall business strategy is to maintain their place as the top propane delivery company in the nation, but to also continue to grow their company to increase revenues. Their core competencies are client service, and they're the experts in the industry. It makes their products safer and reliable. AmeriGas's competitive advantages include great reputation, size of the company. Their AmeriGas cylinder exchange helps them counter seasonality, and their acquisition integration increases their profitability because the quicker that you integrate a new property, the quicker they'll make you money. Leadership, the managers are considered servant type leaders. They actually have a phrase that is said all the time by their managers that is get it done whatever you need. The leadership style creates a synergy between the employees and employer. They're not too hands-on, which is good for a lot of salesmen because they don't want to be overbearing, but if they need anything, they're there to help. Organizational culture and structure. They have a work hard, play hard culture where the employees are being built up by the managers in the company. And they have a top down leadership structure. Challenges. They have servant leader as a boss can sometimes make the employee forget their level within the company and make them forget that that person is their boss. Having a top down structure works well because everyone's getting uniform instruction, and everywhere in the company they're trying to do the same thing. But it can hurt because it can create an environment where employees are not forthcoming with new ideas and innovation. Conclusions. I have come to the conclusion that AmeriGas is a extremely competent company, and they're at the top of their industry, but they've become somewhat stagnant, and they need to change their marketing and invest in research and development. Uh, the way they build it up is through their personal service and relationships with their clients, and they need to keep that when they rejuvenate their marketing and leadership strategies. They they can maintain their place here for a long time, but if they want to continue and stay ahead of electric energy, which is on its way, they must continue to look for ways to increase value in their product while remaining efficient. And recommendations, they need to look to increase their research and development to create new products or add value to the ones they have now. They only have had one partner in history of the company, and that's UGI. I thought it was a great idea that UGI has taken on their long-term debt by purchasing their entire company, because my recommendation would have been find some partners and investors. Uh, Eradicating that debt can help put money into their research and development programs. Lastly, I would suggest that they would look into re-engineering the market strategy in a way that reaches the millennial demographic, but maintaining a focus on their Generation X target market, because the millennials are becoming the homeowners. They're the ones turning 25 to 30, and they're buying new homes. They need something to eat those up. Uh, Overall, this project is pretty great. I learned a lot more than I thought I could about a propane company, and uh, applying things we've learned in class is built uh, will be able to help me in the future, because I know what a strategic analysis is. Thanks.